Welcome to Pride and Promotion, the podcast that celebrates every color under the rainbow and dives deep into the heart of marketing, exploring how innovation and diversity can drive business growth. I'm Joe Federico, your host on this exciting journey and owner of J. Federico Marketing. Every week, we reveal the magic behind effective brand storytelling and examine how inclusive marketing can transform your business landscape. So get ready, because this episode is packed with insights you won't want to miss. Hey everybody, welcome back. I am Joe Federico of J. Federico Marketing, and you're listening to another episode of the Pride and Promotion podcast. I have a very special guest with me, Dominique Rivera, otherwise known as, across all social media, the Oracle of Apollo. Dominique, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm glad to be here on the other side of the camera this time.
Yes, we haven't spoken in a while, but we're always on each other's minds. We know that. I've actually been on your show several times in the past, which is amazing. I want to get back on with you in the future, but we're here and we flipped the script and we're here to talk about marketing and branding and persona building with your business. So,
Great.
How have you been? What's going on? Just tell us a little bit more about you, a little intro, and then we'll dig right into the marketing business.
All right, so I'm the Oracle of Apollo. Everyone calls me the Oracle for short. I'm a holistic psychic medium. I teach wellness, basically strengthening the emotional intelligence, learning how to work through that dissonance by creating coherence, by learning about your chakras, learning what your triggers are, your shadows, so that way we can live a more authentic lifestyle. I've had a TV show called Divine Encounters, which I actually completed this year. I felt complete with it. And that was basically about supernatural experiences around the world. I used to be fully disabled, and through my first vision and pilgrimages and through help from the divinity that some may call miraculous, I turned around a condition that basically should have just continue to deteriorate my body as I got older.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be here and talk about whatever we're going to talk about today.
Well, welcome again. So we're going to start with really about connection, right? And I feel that we have, and we've had for many years, I think even right before COVID, for about 4 or 5 years, this business connection, this deeper personal connection, spiritual connection. We were on a show years ago. That's how we met. We were guests on a show years ago, and we found each other on social media. That evolved into being on your show, and a big congratulations on wrapping that up. I want to hear more about that offline. And I just am so enthralled, so enthused to still be in your circle of spiritualism and professionals in the business. How did you get started, of course, in the business, but really talking about social media? How did you start your business on the platforms, and which ones?
So I feel like, well, my biggest following is TikTok, which is 37,000 followers. Yeah. And how I got started there was understanding what in my world mattered to me. Because as I was going into other people's world seeking what mattered to me, I may have gotten like breadcrumbs of what mattered to me, but not the whole entire loaf.
Right.
So, and if there's one me, and there's 8 billion people on the planet, there's bound to be more versions or facets of me that are reflecting the same needs that I had. And for me at the time, that was the need, because I was disabled, that was the need for adventure, the need for desire, and the need for hope. And so I used TikTok as a catalyst to play games where people could go to my little mini adventures before I got able-bodied and started going around the world and filming different places.
Sure.
Where they would be testing their clairvoyance, their clairaudience, their clairsentience. They're bringing the spiritual aspects here. So they're learning a tool, but then they're also being able to witness different locations around the world with me and going on that journey with me. And that has united a lot of people, because I also use that platform for storytelling of my personal experiences as far as stories go, because on my show it was like everyone else's experiences mostly.
Right.
But for me, these are all my little pilgrimages or side quests,
Mhm.
and I would put them on there, and just people just really gravitate, to listening to the underdog story.
Sure.
Maybe that could
Sure.
happen for them. It inspires them. I have millions of comments of how this has inspired other people to get up and move, to get up and
Yeah.
play, to be curious, to be inspired, to follow the niggle. So yeah, it has definitely been a place for conversations and people from all over the world to meet. And I feel as long as you're authentic to the loaf that you're making,
Yeah.
keep your ingredients and just go ahead and just have confidence in that, in your loaf.
Most people are afraid of social media, and it sounds like you weren't, but were there any struggles before getting on TikTok and really sharing your personal life?
Before getting on TikTok, the struggles were really like limited beliefs. Like, what is the purpose of this? Like, what is it
Mhm.
really going to yield? Why am I investing my time and my energy and my effort into something like this?
Sure.
And so, because, for a while, you're just like, all right, but things started to move quick. I think I got the 37,000 followers in like less than a year or a little over a
Mhm.
year. Um,
It's amazing.
so it was just like learning how to do the editing and then taking people's criticisms on the editing that I was doing and not take it personal. I'm like, okay, I'm still learning. And just watching other people going, okay, I like this and I don't like that. So you don't want to just be straight, copy paste from anything, even though I know there's algorithms and things that are trending and,
There are.
uh, right, that help you kind of get a leg up, but also that wasn't authentic to my loaf. So
Yeah. Now, with the number of followers you have, you said 37,000 on TikTok. Amazing, by the way. That really inspires me, right, to keep on coaching, keep on allowing people to get on social media, keep on being their most, as you had said, authentic selves. Do you respond to every single message or comment on your videos, or have you ever?
I have done that, and I will tell you, that's a part-time job. Because I've had videos that hit a couple million views, and then you have hundreds and thousands of comments, especially on certain. I'll give you an example. Right now, there's one video I have, I think it has like 700,000 comments.
Mhm.
And it was going to Italy to go where I got my miracle healing at Padre
Mhm.
Pio, which is it's a saint there that is believed to heal people, even though he's crossed over, his physical body's still in a glass casket for anybody to
Right.
actually see. And so, to reply to everybody is I think it helps people feel seen. It helps people feel validated. On the algorithm side, it's pushing up your video. It's helping your numbers. Any comment is a good comment, no matter how shitty the comment
Right.
is, because it gives you an opportunity.
Yeah.
Exactly. It gives you, actually, I like the shitty comments because it gives you an opportunity to express authentically in a bold yet kind way. It also sometimes breaks barriers of limited beliefs within the people that are viewing your content, who
Mhm.
maybe go, oh, I didn't know that's what was happening, but that
Yeah.
expanded my sense of awareness, further than where it was, where the capacity was. So I
Yes.
feel like taking these opportunities as a way to not take it personal.
Mhm.
And don't take it personal. Take it objectively.
Yeah.
Take it objectively, like art or
Like
like
art.
creating.
I love that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I can totally get behind that. And you're correct. Being in the business for me going on 12 years, which is insane. I mean, I love what I do. Of course, you have to dedicate yourself to the craft, to, like you said, art. But once you get yourself on camera, whether you're a spiritualist or sharing your personal stories, your health journeys, or a marketing professional like myself, you're opening up a lot of doors by sharing and allowing a lot of people to get into your business. So, how did you feel? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's absolutely true. And I have to look at it from more than one way. I'm looking at it as the energetic way, and then I'm also looking at it as the practical 3D way.
Correct.
Um, because there's always going to be the powers that be and the powers that oppose,
Hmm.
I think that's the most beautiful way I've ever said that. The powers that oppose will try to diminish your confidence and the quality of your loaf.
Correct. Hmm.
Okay? So that way you stop believing in your recipe.
And
But that's a trick.
sometimes as a public figure, it's easy to. You can get down on yourself. And I'm sure you've experienced too. I know I speak about this all the time, is working through that internal monologue and saying, you know what, just you're not good enough. Not always, but then you have to get yourself back. You're the business owner. You're the writer of your own destiny, right? The author. You have to talk to people. And when you open those doors, you really don't have a choice. So have you struggled with that too? It sounds like you have, maybe in the past.
I feel like people say, well, just stop caring about, don't care or don't give a F, right? Don't give a F
Right,
about what other people think.
right.
Framing it that way is like saying be strong when you're afraid and you can't get to the plateau
Hmm. Hmm.
of the courage, right?
Right, right.
So reframing it instead of don't care about what people think, how about care the most about your truth, care the most about your belief, care the most about what you think.
Yeah.
I'm not giving my power away with these expressions. I'm not giving my power away with these expressions. I'm not becoming a victim.
Hmm.
I'm not sitting here trying to go, okay, creating a whole new equation. As long as I believe more in myself than in the voices that exist outside of me and the never ending amount of opinions that everybody has,
Yeah.
you will stay authentic to your loaf. You'll stay authentic to your ingredients. You won't trade them out.
Correct. And you'll attract your tribe. That will become followers, that may become friends, people that you travel with and
Yeah.
for and around, people that will lift you up. It's all about a rising tide raises all boats. And that's really what I try to do as well with my marketing. And it sounds like you've certainly, and you continue to accomplish that with your mission, is it's about elevating each other, especially within the business owner realm, at least for me and my tribe.
Yeah. I agree. And meeting other people when you're in a similar mission, maybe not the same exact thing you're doing, but in a similar mission, recognizing that your kindness of energetically speaking, because now I'm talking energetic marketing, right?
Hmm. Yes. Hmm.
Sharing their post. Like if anybody follows any of my social medias, I'll use Instagram as an example because that one was like a little more personal.
Hmm.
I will highlight all my friends who are making music in my stories. That they're actively just paid professional musicians. If they just dropped the album, I will share it. If they
Hmm.
just dropped a song, I will share it. If there's somebody who's doing dance, or she's just learning, I will share it because you're investing into someone's energetic currency into their future for them to harvest that later by
Yeah.
kindness and by sharing. Sharing is a kindness because sometimes people even get arrogant when you're asking them to share something when it's literally a half of a second
It's true.
and we couldn't be
It's true.
bothered.
Right.
We'll
And
quickly
that's
share a
unfortunate
cat
too.
video. It is
Yeah.
unfortunate. But then someone's like, hey, I'm spending this entire 3-day weekend cooking 700 hot dogs at this new catering that I by myself am making. Can you share this? And everybody just goes,
And
scroll. I'm not going to share
won't
that.
even care. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. And it happens. It happens a lot more often than not with small businesses. And if
Mm-hmm.
you care about, and this is like a PSA, right? Listen up from the Maven and the Oracle. If you care about your circle or somebody that you probably know out there in TV land, what it means to start a business. I do. The Oracle does, right? My whole mission is to help businesses grow. Give a like, give a comment and a review, but also give a share. It will help somebody more than you ever know. Trust you me. So please put that in your pipe and save it for a rainy day.
Sure. I love when someone just grabs my stuff and then I see it shared later because not just like when people are commenting under beautiful stories or lessons that I'm personally learning that I am an open book for the world in my
Yeah,
lesson learning.
Yeah.
And but when they share it back, it's like, wow, it impacted. I feel like I'm impacting them, their purview of the world, and now infinite possibilities for other people's worlds. And it
Hmm.
just takes one. It just takes one world to be shooketh, and that
Yeah.
ripple effect is like a giant boulder falling in the middle of a lake.
Yes. Yes. It's the butterfly effect. If you be
Yep.
positive to one person, what I learned at Pride too, like this year, is just the power of kindness. Taking what I learned and teach from social media and bringing it out into the real world. Give somebody a wave, give somebody a high five, give somebody a hug, go to their stand and buy their coffee or their bracelet or whatever they worked on that they believe in. It takes nothing, no energy to be kind. It takes a lot more energy to be mean, as you had said through the comments, but also flipping the script. What I wanted to bring around in that conversation to wrap that up for a moment is allowing yourself on social media to take your power back within your comments. You can re-script the conversation, right? You don't have to be mean back to people when you respond to something on social media. Grab them by the ears or grab the microphone and say, hey, I'm talking, and try to educate and spin the conversation into something more positive. That's what I've taught and what I've done in the past as well.
I think it's important.
Absolutely. So, again, knowing you for years, how did you come up with, now we're going to jump to branding for a second, personal and professional branding. You're still the Oracle, and I'm very glad you're still the Oracle. How did you come up with that? What was did you have a vision? Did you just go through a bunch of names online, what was available for a website? How did you go with the Oracle of Apollo originally, and what does that mean to you?
That's a great question. Because no one here is gonna. You couldn't pay anyone here to figure out what the answer to that one's gonna be. I'm telling you
Oh
right
boy.
now. All right, so some in different parts of the world, and I couldn't even tell you how many places I've been. There's about 39,000 photos in my phone of places
Yeah,
that I've been.
sure.
And so while I was sick in my journey, I had postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and there's so much of me and about my recovery story and this elsewhere, so we won't jump too deep into that.
Right.
But while I was on my journey, this one evening, which affected my cognitive, it affected my heart rate. I was home by myself one night, and in bed I heard a voice, and it was in the dark,
Hmm.
and I heard my name. I heard my name spoken, Dominique. And I very quickly turned the light on and I looked around my bedroom because it was like in my space and
Yeah.
there was nothing there. There was no one there.
Hmm.
So many nights later, I cannot give you the chronological order of this because this is 2013, okay?
Okay.
Some nights later, I heard the voice again. This time, I was brave enough to ask, who is that?
Hmm.
And all I got was a one-word reply, and it was Apollo. This
Oh,
was the beginning of a 2-year journey of being able to have my third eye opened, becoming a shaman, curandera, medicine woman, duende owner. You know, depending on where I'm at, people have given me so many names, so many
yeah.
names. And this became an unfolding of memories which actually came to a head when I actually went to Greece. But it came an unfolding of memories of somewhere I had never been,
Hmm.
information I never had access to, education that I never sought after, and past lives that were opening for me that then started to show me who I was in this very long lineage of Pythias, the oracles of Apollo, which was 1,000 years long.
Hmm.
So there was many,
Hmm.
many, many of them.
Wow.
And the sole purpose being of that experience was to inherit my name. I was asked to inherit my name. And this shook me to my core
Mm.
because anything that challenges your identity is a crisis. This is
Sure
why
is.
we have resistance against new ideas. This is even after 37, our personalities are permanently ingrained into our brain, and it's almost impossible to change that. Even though
Hmm.
until 27, a part of our brain is still coming into their form of completion. So it's like you're challenging literally everything that I am, everything that I understand the world, and then also telling me you are this other vessel. 20, okay. You are this other vessel. You're a vessel of light. You're going to be a vessel of healing, of inspiration. And there was all these responsibilities suddenly on me that were attached to taking
Mm-hmm.
on this label. And who am I? Who am I? Was a thought at the time. I'm no one to receive this, to do these things that you claim. But after
Hmm.
2 years and many, 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 many stories and many pilgrimages later, I accepted my name. I actually got this done ceremoniously the day I took my name. And
Wow.
no one actually refers to me as my birth name unless it's somebody like I don't actually know, or they only know me through social media.
Sure.
But everyone else calls me the Oracle in real life, because everything has a vibrational frequency. And when I'm spoken to in my name, it aligns me more with my purpose and my mission, because every name has power.
Uh-huh.
So inheriting that translated into what I was doing, as far as for community and for world. And that became not just a brand, that actually made people find and seek me when they get downloaded information to find me. This has happened many
Right.
times.
Right.
But it's in it's my identity too. So it's one and the same. It's one and the same.
And then you
And
utilize that. That was very special for you, clearly.
right, and I use it in my music too. Now that I come out of TV and I'm in music, I'm still using my same name. But it might be Lady Oracle just to kind of give it pizzazz, but still
Mhm.
nonetheless.
So maybe, I mean, not that it wasn't marketable, but it has a little bit more pizzazz. Lady Oracle sounds like you're a in music, like you're a
Yeah.
rock star. So there's the evolution of that persona. So how's that going, Lady Oracle? How's that feeling on social with your music? Kind of evolving your persona in that sense.
It feels like big Empress energy. That's what that feels like.
Oh,
I
you
got
hit me
that
with the
big
wall
Empress
there.
energy.
Okay, good.
Ah,
What rewinding a little bit, we're jumping everywhere because we have so much to talk about. What made you decide or allowed you to decide to close up the podcast and the TV show and move more into music and travel?
well, I almost died in October last year.
Ooh, I didn't know
Again,
that. Okay.
like, again, 9 times the charm. And
Uh-huh.
anywho, I drowned in the South Carolina Ocean. I
Uh-huh.
went to go see my stepson graduate the Marines, and I had been coming out of a big year of healing. I was nomadic basically the whole year from a betrayal,
Hmm.
and going after different medicine people. Mayan elders came to Colorado, and I got a healing done. Fast forward to the beach in South Carolina, half a year later, I am
Yeah.
now giving the ocean offerings to help cleanse me of the woman that I am so I could be the woman I become. So I asked
Uh-huh.
the ocean to kill me in not so many words so that I can
Right.
step into and transform and alchemicalize myself into who my next state of evolution was going to be. And I
Right.
walked in maybe like hip waist in, and there was a riptide and it caught me, and I was under for about 7 minutes.
Wow.
There was no one on the beach because the beach season was not a thing.
Uh-huh.
And while I was underwater, I was given step-by-step instructions on what to do
Hmm.
to get out of the situation. And as I listened to the guidance from spirit that got me ultimately out of there, how I got back on shore, I feel like was astronomically, it blows my mind to this day.
Hmm.
And mind you, I'm a person that got hit by lightning, okay? And that took me years to like integrate that.
Right.
So it blew my mind that when I hit the shore, and you're hearing the words I'm saying, I hit the shore.
Hmm.
I hit the shore. I
Yeah.
didn't float into the shore. I didn't crawl out of the water. I hit the shore
Hmm.
so hard that it bruised my whole side. It sprained my ankle and my wrists.
Wow.
And there was a couple, a lady and a man and a child, coming down the beach at this moment.
Hmm.
And through what felt like glass and embers, because your larynx closes while you're actively drowning. So for those of
Yeah.
you out there, this is why
Wow.
it's called the silent killer. So it's an autonomous thing, so you don't swallow water. But I
Hmm.
had already swallowed lots of water.
Yeah.
I hollered what I could, And this man looks at me without any urgency at all and starts to move in a manner that was just like very gingerly. And in my mind, I'm going through all my anxiety and my fear, and I'm like, oh my God, like, why is he walking towards me that way? Like, this water's about to swallow me because I had already tried to get out for so long. So this whole interaction was maybe like 20 seconds that I'm talking about. I look back towards the ocean. I'm on wet sand, by the way. I look back towards the ocean and I'm hurting. And the water was maybe like 40 feet back. There was no damn way that I was in any danger at that point. But the water was so far back that the man must have looked at me when I asked for help that I was drowning and been like, what the hell is she talking about?
Like, what's going on in his reality?
Where's the water? Where's the water?
Right.
The water's all the way back there. But so whatever wave spit me out was hard enough to hurt me pretty fantastically, where there was an audible thud when I landed in the on the shore, and fast enough where when the people I finally caught them, the water was, all the way back there. So it was pretty violent. So that was the day I came home. I'm sorry, I got to my hotel afterwards. I had two choices in my mind. I could cry about this, I was super traumatized, or I could rap about this.
Wow.
So I went in my hotel. Yeah, right, logic. I went in my hotel room and I rapped for like 20 minutes. Then there was a man standing outside the door of my hotel room when I finished. And he was like, "Why? Don't stop, keep going." And I'm thinking he's just walking by. He's not walking by. He was standing there the whole entire time listening to me cry about what just happened. And he was like, "You just got to keep going." We talked through the door for about 4 minutes before I actually opened it.
Wow.
And he's like, I listened through the whole thing, and I was like, this was like 20 minutes. He goes, yeah, I have somewhere to be, but it was like a wall that stopped me. And when I finally get home from this ordeal, I didn't cry at all. I drove all the way back from South Carolina back to Philadelphia, which was like about 12 hours. I touched the doorknob to my bedroom, and these tears of grief came down my face. Like it was the most sorrowful cry I have ever had. And the mortal thought, because when you're facing death, there's always a mortal thought, which is like your child, your spouse. For me, it wasn't any of that. The mortal thought was the world almost didn't hear my voice. That was it. And Spirit was so clear. They're like, you just need to make music now. So I called the network and I was like, listen. They're like, well, you can just change your show to be about music. I said, no. That's not what this is about. This is not about adapting. This is about taking all those energies, all those eggs, all that belief that I harvested from this show that teach me that I can do something exceptional. Because we had like 120,000 viewers a month, for my show. And so over 4 seasons, you're talking about a couple million people. And put that into music because you know you can. Because you know you can.
Sure.
You don't have to know how to do it at all. You don't.
Just
as long as you can believe you can, you'll do it. And and the how will unravel and show itself as you go through the stations of the experience.
And how have you evolved once you are still working through it, I'm assuming with your music, which is beautiful, and the evolution has been beautiful, and I'm sure cathartic to you. How has your social media changed once the show wrapped up now with your music? Has it changed much?
What's the social media aspect has just involved more music, but then there's like spirituality and consciousness. And now these people who were watching me for other things are now learning, oh man, I can listen to conscious rap. It doesn't have to just be about Jesus. Not that I'm knocking anybody out, but there's more music out there that's faith driven or cosmically driven or inspirational. It doesn't involve religion, right? And so now all these people are getting tastes of that. They're super excited, and I just got to perform at my very first conscious music festival as a solo artist in Tennessee at the Fireflies. Thank you. So that led me to that by posting the fact that I said thank you to the TV show, and I wish you goodbye, and I wish you luck, and I'm now focusing on this. It made everybody who was watching me before go, oh, Oracle's being drastic.
Hmm.
Whoa, she's just abandoning this whole thing she just created. Now they're at their edge of their seats. What is Oracle doing today? And I'm
Hmm.
so serious. That's how it felt. It felt like there was a pause or like a gasp. The season has ended of the show, and to be continued. What's coming up? Stay
Hmm.
tuned.
Right.
And now we have to know what is she gonna pull through? It's like you're watching the underdog. You're watching them real time, but it feels like a soap opera.
Yes. But that's the power of social media. Is
Right.
you were bold enough to share your evolution up to that point. You were bold enough to share your music, which was your transition, and you're bold enough to then share your story thereafter and going forward to the future. But that's the power, because before social media, who do you think you would have turned to back before these platforms were in existence?
You would have needed to pay somebody to
Right.
represent you, and hopefully they had good intention for you.
Correct. Hmm. Hmm.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, exactly, because it was very difficult to even get anything back in the 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s before social media. It was all
Sure.
word of mouth, creating websites, creating code, right? Hiring a publicist. That's a lot of work, you
Sure.
know? And now that all is combined within social media because you can put out
Mhm.
one thing, one record, one post, and people are watching. Whether or not they respond or reply or comment or like or share, they are watching out there in TV land. Trust you me, right?
Oh
So
yes.
there's that.
Yes.
There's that.
Sometimes you feel like, what is the laurels of my experience, because you're looking for something tangible in your world to validate your experience, but
Right,
there's no damn way you're going to have 110,000 people watch every month and maybe 1% of them comment, right?
right.
5% comment. A very marginal amount comment who are interacting with you, which is only the people who are in your consciousness are the ones that are interacting with you. But
Sure.
there's that whole 95 other percent who still keep coming back. You don't even know their name, nothing about them, but they still keep coming back.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
invested. Their time is an investment into you.
Because you're being human and you're being transparent and you're being raw and you're being organic. You're not bullshitting anyone. People, especially after COVID, I'm sure you know this, have no time for the BS on social media. They want to believe in something that
Mm,
will allow them to find and allow them to believe in themselves by watching your content and connecting with you. Because not only are you a product on social media, and everybody should understand that, but you have to be human at the very core of things. Drop the
sure.
mic. So, where do you see your persona going in the next 6 months to 2 years with your
Oh,
music now?
I want to have my own album out that's just conscious music out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like we just don't realize when we're listening to music that's like detrimental to our mind, we don't even realize we're just singing along. But some of these lyrics are just so energetically draining that you wouldn't allow a person to stand 2 feet in front of you and say half of the things that music says to you. But then
Right.
you're willing to put your headphones on and just replay it on repeat and sing it like a mantra. So for me, I feel like from last year till now, even last night, I got lots of compliments on the evolution of my vocal technicality has increased. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been putting a lot of energy in it. I did a concert in Romania last year for
Oh,
to raise kids money for kids in Kenya.
yes, I saw that.
And I did that with a friend from X Factor who picked me for the project, which was great. X Factor Romania, but I see my album being out. I would like to do more festivals and start booking for next year. So, but really, my goal right now is have my album out with my signature
Mm-hmm.
on it, and no longer covers. So I do a lot of covers now, but solo music for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, again, another evolution, another iteration of Lady Oracle, just in the near future and beyond. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. I'm sticking to what the assignment was, which is my new mission, even if I don't even though it's a building process and we know when we're building something from scratch, there is no laurels to be obtained.
No.
it's the blood, sweat, and tears is, that's building the momentum to the 1 day point whenever that 1 day comes. And I can't say it's 5 years from now because it could be tomorrow. A video could come up and hit 20 million people just because, I don't know, whatever reason, the algorithm liked it. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's no gauging. There's no gauging when divinity, fate, and opportunity coincide with your skill set and your openness and accepting your ability to receive. There's no gauging when that is. So all I can do is continue to prepare myself as the best vessel possible, learning, sharing, learning, sharing, learning, sharing, rinse, wash, and repeat. And all this does
Absolutely.
is connect me to other people who are rinse, wash, and repeating in their own way. And now we're getting stronger. We're forging
And being human and being
and
raw
being human.
and being authentic and being
Sure.
organic.
Yes.
Can you give some advice as we wrap up in a few minutes to somebody starting out on social media that is deathly afraid, that doesn't want to share their story just yet? What's your one or two pieces of advice for somebody like that?
The most impactful thing that we can share with the world is the things that we can hardly whisper to our friends. And that's because it comes from such a real place that you forget at times that you're just people just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone else has those same things that they can only whisper about to their friends. And the fact that you decided to say it with gumption, the fact that you decided to say it with a full chest, whoa, I want to be able to say those things that I whisper with the full chest one day. And you don't know who you're going to impact. And you don't
Yeah.
know who's going to see that. And you don't know who you might even save along the way. And I say save because people are in their own hells. Everybody has their own version of hells that they're going through. We know
It's true.
nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that
Mm-hmm.
could be a transition from leaving an abusive partner to becoming single. And you're over here talking about, 2 years narcissist free. Yeah. Like you don't know. You don't know. You might be someone else's knight in shining armor just by sharing. Even if it's, cat videos that make people smile and forget about their problems.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. And well said, by the way. And I
Thank you.
love having been a part of your evolution. I love having seen it the past few years. And I look forward to seeing your evolution personally and professionally and on social media moving forward. So thanks for sharing that with us and with me today on the show.
Thank you. Thank you
So
for having me.
again, I'm sorry.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I want to have you again and
Sure.
again and again, rinse, wash, repeat on the show and hear about your evolution. And we could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but unfortunately, we're running out of time. So I'd like to give you the floor one more time this evening and tell us how we can find you across all the socials online.
Great. So you guys can find me anywhere online at the Oracle of Apollo. Or if you want to work with me, book with me for readings, mediumship, music, fire dancing, basically music, art, poetry. Or the Apollo is the god of philosophy, music, art, and healing. So anything under that umbrella, you can find me at oracleofapollo.com and book me. And if you want to fly me out, even better, I will be there with something very adorable on. So yeah, that's where you can get a hold of me at.
And I will certainly tell you guys this, everybody out in there in TV land is just tuning in. She's the real deal. Every time we work together, there's some kind of something comes through, very positive. We'll talk about this offline, but there's an audience here in my living room in the studio that came through when we were talking, and somebody always comes through. So she's the real deal, everybody. So definitely follow her on social, book her, and follow her on, again, all the social platforms on the internet. But thank you so much for coming. So much for your time. And everybody out there in TV land, I'm Joe Federico of J Federico Marketing and the Pride and Promotion Podcast. So stay tuned for another episode coming soon. Go forth with pride. Peace out. That's a wrap for today's episode of Pride and Promotion. We hope you're leaving with fresh insights and inspiration on how to harness the power of diversity and innovation in your marketing strategies. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode. where we've got more exciting topics and expert guests lined up just for you. Until then, I'm Joe Federico. You can find me at www.jfedericomarketing.com, and I want to help you go forth with pride and make your mark in the world of marketing.